What's going on, guys? Welcome back into the channel. In today's video, we're actually going to be addressing the video that we had talked about earlier in the week, or that we brought up earlier in the week with regards to the leaked information with Madden and EA canceling their updates for Madden in terms of franchise mode. Now, what happened was there's a couple of different updates to this story. I'm a little bit late to the party on this, but I wanted to make sure that you guys get all of the right information so you guys know exactly what's going on with this situation. And first and foremost, I wanted to address EA's response to the leaks so that you guys know where they supposedly stand in terms of Madden 22 franchise mode. So, according to EA, their statement reads as follows: "We do not like to comment on rumors or speculation. However, we are committed to continuing to improve franchise as a part of our ongoing Madden NFL 22 live service and beyond. This includes 2 upcoming franchise updates that we'll deliver in Madden NFL 22. We will have more details on the updates in the new year." This statement directly contradicts what was released by Sports Gamers Online and what they reportedly received from their sources. Now, what I will say here, and I want to address, is just because they state that they are going to include 2 upcoming franchise updates, that does not mean that it is the same 2 franchise updates that were referenced by sources from Sports Gamers Online. It is very possible that they canceled 2 franchise updates, and they are now talking about giving us 2 completely different franchise updates based on the backlash or based on a new plan or something of that nature. So we'll get more into that in the article in terms of what is believed to have been the updates that were planned and some of SGO's response to all of this, and how I'm feeling about it and how they're feeling about it. Now, just so that you guys can make sure you're caught up on everything, Sports Gamers Online released their report on Monday of this week. We're on Saturday right now when I'm making this video, so it's within this week, and this is regarding their live service updates for Madden 22 franchise mode. Just a quick recap on that information: SGO were informed after talking to multiple sources around the game's development that the 2 other large updates for the mode that had been planned have now been canceled, and this decision was specifically made after members of the Madden development team left to work on EA Sports College Football. On top of that, Madden development was going to focus more on year-over-year developments according to the information that they had been given. Obviously, this was going to frustrate a large part of the Madden 22 community, which in my opinion is the majority of the player base for Madden, which would be franchise players and people that play this game maybe a little bit more casually and things like that. So there was a lot of backlash over this. You guys saw me make a video, you may have seen that video, and many other people released their thoughts and talked about some of the potential backlash of this decision. One note that I definitely want to hit on here, and it will be hit on multiple times in this article, is that SGO reached out multiple times for comment and or clarification on what they had learned to EA Sports, which means EA Sports had multiple opportunities to address these rumors before they were ever published, meaning that their response is directly, in my opinion, to the backlash from the community and everything that has been released. Like I said, they had a chance, and multiple chances, to respond to this or correct this information prior to it being released or published. EA's statement in retort to this information came out on Thursday night. So the article was published on Monday. The response to it from EA came out on Thursday, which seems to indicate, as is also indicated in this article, that they changed their plan yet again after they had probably some meetings and some information to redirect their focus based on the information that had been released and the response to that information. It's interesting here because SGO and the writer of this article, who again is Michael Straw, goes on to note that in his decade-long time in this field, most companies will at least provide some sort of statement to the outlet that first reported the story. That is not the case that is going on here with EA. He notes that it feels very much like a response and covering tracks after fan backlash. This next segment here from this article I find to be one of the most interesting segments from the article, and this one goes on to read that, as stated, the main point of the story was the Madden team losing a major portion of their developers, and the two major, as we would say, and were told by them, franchise mode updates were scrapped. When exactly they were scrapped, we don't know. I just know that they were. Obviously, people wanted to know what those two features were. This is the interesting part here. We were told the two were a scouting talent tree and a large update to the scenario engine. There were also larger plans, but those got cut even earlier, likely before anyone knew about the planned 3 updates for Madden 22. So to me, it seems like there are some folks over there at EA on the Madden development team that have the right idea of where we need to be going with Madden and Madden franchise mode, but more than likely the plans keep getting whittled down and they keep getting pared back and cut to something that is going to take less resources than the leaders over there would want it to take, because they want most of the development time to be spent on other game modes, is kind of the feeling that I get here. So it seems like, based on this timeline of events, there were large updates, groundbreaking updates to franchise mode that were planned. Those never got fully approved. They got scaled back to the scouting update, and these two more minor updates like a scouting talent tree and things like that, and then that gets pared back even further. And I'm going to be honest with you guys, so we have this information about a scouting talent tree as well as an update to the scenario engine. I wouldn't expect any updates for Madden 22 franchise mode. Now, it's likely that they might release some updates based on EA's latest statement, but chances are they're not going to come out in a timely fashion, and they're not going to come out as described. I'll reference once again that the scouting update came out well over its due date, a month at the very least after it was scheduled to release, which was already a month after the release of the game. Now we're talking about 2 potential updates that were at one time potentially canceled, maybe where we have 2 completely new plans for updates that weren't in the works before, and those might come out in January or February whenever the NFL season is already wrapping up. So what meaning does that have, and what value does that actually have to players that are playing the game and to franchise mode? In my opinion, not a lot of value. These things need to be in the game from the start, otherwise the game doesn't have any value. So it's a really, really interesting situation right now, and there's a lot of really interesting information in this article beyond what I'm going to cover in this video. There are some minor details that you guys might find interesting. Michael Straw goes on to clarify that there's a large section here about what, people asking where does he get his information, show proof, all this type of stuff. I don't understand people that ask for proof or ask for them to release their sources and stuff like that. That just shows that there's a lot of people that don't have an understanding of how this business works or how having sources work. They are trusting you to keep this information anonymous, or at least keep their source anonymous so that they aren't fired by the company for releasing this information and things like this. That's just not how the world works. You can't just expect companies and like Sports Gamers Online to release their sources. Then they lose their sources and they lose the ability to report on this information at all. It loses credibility, and honestly, I think that everybody needs to understand that we're going to get this information oftentimes without any proof proof or any sources that are defined to back this stuff up. It is all going to be speculation and rumor, but there is a shred of truth to all pieces of rumor and intrigue, and, you know, whether it's fully true or only a sliver of it's true, this is coming from a place of wanting Madden 22 to be the best game that it can be, wanting Madden franchise to be the best that it can be, and I think that after having the response from EA, it clearly indicates, you know, based on the timeline and what the response actually is, not even addressing parts of the rumors, that, you know, some of this is true. And I think that we also need to look at this in the light of what did EA actually respond to in order to shape our views on what's actually going on here. So we know that EA has a history of negative user sentiment and large backlash leading to the change of course in action. It's been proven already with the Madden series alone when you look back at Madden 21. You know, if that wasn't the case this year, why wait 2 days to issue a statement saying that it was false? As I said earlier in the video, that, you know, this is exactly the words from SGO and Michael Straw. You know, why not respond immediately when the story was published and was being talked about? Why not address the second part of the story regarding the move of the team from Madden to NCAA? And I think that that is one of the key pieces of detail here, is that they aren't addressing the fact that the rumors indicate that part of the team is moving from Madden over to NCAA. Well, if that is true, that tells us everything that we need to know. If you're moving part of your development team from one section of the game to a completely different game, that takes away resources to be able to develop everything that you probably wanted to develop on the current Madden 22 game. So, you know, I believe that there is a lot of truth in what is going on here and a lot of truth in what is being told. Now, I think that there is a sliver of truth to what EA is telling us. I think that they're trying to cover their tracks. I think that they might try to do some things for Madden franchise mode continuing here on Madden 22, but I'm going to be honest with you guys, I think that there is probably a lot of frustration over there with the EA devs and the Madden EA dev team, and I think that there are a lot of issues going on right now that just continue to turn the tide in favor of, you know, not supporting EA as a football game developer. And I just wanted to cap off this video by showing the end of the article and a little bit of information about Michael Straw, who reported on this article, or created this article. He says, myself and the rest of SGO will always stand by our original reporting. There's no reason for us to not continue to do this moving forward. As an outlet, we started to help sports gamers improve and to bring them the latest on the games they love. If our reporting leads to positive outcomes for the gaming community, that makes it all worth it. And then the information on Michael Straw that I found interesting about him, to know about, you know, the source of this information and you know, who's reporting this information to us. Michael Straw is a gamer who just happens to be an experienced journalist. In his near decade-long career, Mike has traveled across the United States to cover some of the biggest events in gaming and sports, including E3, PAX, as well as the NFL and NHL drafts. And that right there is key information to me. It states that this guy has experience across various levels within this industry, and then it goes on to say his work covering gaming and sports led to his content being featured on Fox Sports 1 and SI.com, as well as others. So there is, you know, a solid background here, and SGO has always been a very solid organization to report information on sports gaming and things like that. You know, this is just a slurry of rumors and you know, in my opinion, half-baked response from EA to things that are detrimental to, you know, users' viewpoint of the game and of the company. So let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. I don't really have a whole lot more to say about this. You know, a lot of my thoughts are expressed in that first video, and I'll link to that in the description. You know, I'll link to the article down below as well in case you want to read the full article, because like I said, there's more detail there that I'm not covering all in this video, but certainly wanted to bring you guys an update on this video and, you know, make sure that you guys had all the updated information with regards to this story. I hope you guys enjoyed, or I hope you guys at least enjoy this type of video. If you do, make sure you leave that feedback down below. Comment, let me know your thoughts. Leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and I'll see you guys in the next one.